Last year was a lot of L's, like a lot of L's. Like I was hit left, right, center with a lot of L's. I'm happy because I learned a lot that kind of helped me later on towards the end of the year. Hello people of Earth, welcome back to my channel. Don't mind the lighting is gonna change throughout this video because I'm using natural lighting because man's is broke. So like, y'all just gonna have to live with it, okay? So today I'm gonna talk about last year, so 2018, pretty much life hacks I learned last year. Don't be afraid to reset, don't be afraid to mostly like kind of step back and reflect on your post-secondary education. It doesn't really matter whether you're in secondary school, you're in college or university. Like it's good to take a step back and kind of just evaluate like what is happening in your life. Summer of 2018 I actually transferred programs, so I transferred from engineering into business management, and a lot of people are too scared to do things like that, and I totally understand because it took me 1 year, believe it or not. It took me 1 year to decide whether or not I'm actually going to transfer into business management. So I'm currently in business management and I'm doing entrepreneurship, and that's something that's always been with me like right from God knows how long. So it's like, it wasn't easy because I had to think of it for so long before I actually transferred. So I definitely understand the plight and the struggles with that. But don't be afraid to reset. Don't be afraid to take a step back and be like, okay, could I be doing something else that will be more beneficial to me, that I'm not doing right now? Sometimes you might be doing very well, you might be doing okay, fine, but you don't get any satisfaction from what you're doing. Like, don't be scared to step back and change your mind. You could be like, you know what, I don't want to do the stream of engineering anymore, maybe I want to do this. Or like, it could be like, I don't want to do this program at all, which I did. Don't be afraid to ask for what you want. In terms of policies of the university, things that are lacking on campus, like, or in the classroom, or about a professor. Remember, policies are made by human beings and they can be changed, especially when they're unfair and they're not reasonable for students. So if there is any policy on campus that you feel that is not just fair to students, and a lot of students have complained about it, and this is something that actually happens at my school, like there are lots of policies that just don't make sense. Like it is totally unreasonable and it is unfair and makes school more inaccessible for a lot of people. When you're in university, you should think and know that those policies can be changed. I know like some universities are very open to suggestions. They have town halls and they have like focus groups and like how the library should be, or like how classrooms should be, and all that kind of good stuff. So like I would advise like actually search, like I know a lot of schools have the professor surveys, right? At the end of every semester, like there's surveys where you could like rate your professor and say like what you liked about the course or what you didn't like, and like just giving critical feedback. That's the second major hack you should know, like coming into university or even being in university. Know that things can change, they don't have to be permanent, especially when they don't favor students, because like university is meant to be a place of learning and development, personal development. And if the school policies are hindering students from like actually getting developed, then what's the essence? Like, especially when you pay so much in tuition fees. The third and the final thing is getting involved in campus. There are many types of students, like in terms of like getting involved, and like a lot of people come in being like, okay, you know what, like I would like to get involved, I would like to like do more stuff on campus, but like I'm just gonna finish my first year first and then I'll do that later. Or like there are people who are in university and they're not really doing anything. They're like, oh, I'm gonna focus on my studies, because like, you know, that's what I'm here for. But the truth is that the world is changing so fast that like employers are not looking for how many A's you got. They really aren't. They're looking for people who have been involved in campus, people who have experiences. Like, getting involved in campus is more than just being on your resume as well too. Like, that's what people have to understand. Sometimes it builds community. Like, you find community at school, because a lot of the times like people have problems with like finding friends, or like finding a place where they feel like they could connect to, or they feel disconnected from the campus or from university because they're not getting involved on campus. And it really also helps you with connections. Like, a lot of the times there's so many things you'd want to do. If you were involved on campus, you probably know someone who could help you out with, especially university. Like, if you want to embark on some kind of like, let's say your final year project and you need some help from someone in a different faculty or program, like how do you do that if you're not involved on campus, you know? So it's like it helps you build connections. And if you're someone like me who's like extremely interested in entrepreneurship and like actively involved in that, like you definitely want to be involved on campus, because like that's the way you build connections, that's the way you build partnerships, that's how you get to work in different projects that kind of like develops your knowledge and your skill set. So a lot of people come into universities, most of the time they necessarily don't know what to do. A lot of people do, so they just go into whatever. Sometimes people go into accounting and thinking it's very easy, and they go into it and find out like, oh shoot, this is extremely hard. So it's like, how do you kind of get to know what you want to do if you decided not to take a gap year to discover yourself and blah blah blah? It's like, how do you know what to do? Well, that's really hard, because like if you were just like going to class and going back home, you're really never gonna find out what you really want to do. And if you're not involved in anything outside school as well. If you liked this video, please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.